weeks until I had gotten some things in that I was wanting to use in it and with it and stuff like that. So right now it just has the elastic closure on it. And this was from an old book that I took apart, and I liked the covers because they were like a cream color, and all I've done is just rubbed a distressing ink pad over the front and back and left it as it was. And then the inside cover, same thing, I just rubbed the ink on it. This was from I don't remember if it was from the front of this book or the front of a different book, but it had "This Book Belongs To," and it had a goofy little picture there, and I wanted to cover it up. So I stamped an image and then layered it on some black cardstock and just kind of foo-fooed it a little bit to where the "This Book Belongs To" part was still readable. This was out of the bird book, and I didn't want to lose any of the bird image, but I wanted to put a pocket to kind of cover up the writing that was here. So I just used a piece of pattern paper, made a kind of a tuck pocket, and then added a button there. The back side here, the pretty yellow bird, I just wanted to leave it so I didn't do anything to it. And the piece I had to trim off, I thought it was perfect for another little short page. And then I did another little tuck pocket because I wanted to keep those birds. And then just a solid cardstock on that side. But then I used a piece of patterned paper, made a little pocket, and then it would hold some different little cards. On one of the lined pieces, this was a leaf that I die cut and then run it through the embossing folder and put the little dots on it. This was a piece of patterned paper. It was called Duplex or Duoplex or something like that way back when I got it. And I used a piece of it to make a page. And then I had this scrap of purple that I thought went with it to make a pocket. But I actually wanted to get more use out of it. So I kind of made two pockets. By the way, I folded it and then just glued it down. This is an angled belly band, and it's the trim piece off of an envelope that I used on the inside back cover. I didn't want to waste it, so I recut it to fit, and I liked the way that it went with the purpley color of the paper. Some cardstock, and then I just used a brown to make a belly band and put a clippy on it. Here I did a tuck spot using the two different scallop die cuts and just glued them to the edge. I used a library pocket to make a little pocket page, and then just put a solid piece on the back so that it hid where the pocket was joined together. This was a piece of glossy cardstock that I just rubbed some ink on and then stamped the little flower image and then just rubbed ink on the back side. Here I made a pocket out of a scrap of pattern paper onto the piece of cardstock. Another tuck spot made from half of a doily. I wanted to keep the poo page intact, but I wanted a way to still tuck something to it. So I had this scrap of goldish colored cardstock that was the same color as poo. So I made a little tuck corner and then just put the little green paper clip. And then same thing on the opposite side with the Tigger. I used a little leaf die cut, and then I did the little bird die cut as a tuck spot. I turned the red into a tuck spot layer over the black, and this little white splat die cut was just screaming to be added to the page, so I thought that turned out pretty cute. And then the trim piece from the Duoplex over the piece of matte paper, and I added one of the little coffee envelopes. I did some little die cut trim at the bottom of this page, and this was just out of a kid's book. Here, this was a lighter weight cardstock, so I took a heavier cardstock in the blue, and I actually made a double pocket by wrapping the end, so I ended up with a pocket here and a pocket here, and still have plenty of background space of the page. This one was a lighter weight paper, and I just took the little tree branch die cut and added it across the top just for some interest. This I did the same thing to. I did the brown, wrapped it around the end, so I end up with a double tuck pocket on the side, but still have plenty of page. Another page out of the little kitty book that I bought and took apart. I put the other half of the scallop die cuts at the top of this page as a tuck spot. I love those little kittens from that book. I used a piece of lace die cut over the blue and made a belly band there, and then just left the back side plain. Another one of those little coffee pages. Here, the green, I used a piece of scrap and made a tuck spot so that you could add things to it, but it still decorated the page real nicely. Here, I did a tuck spot by wrapping the cardstock again around the end so it has a tuck spot on both sides. Added the die cut row of birds to the top just to decorate that. This one, I just had a scrap of this plaid, but it went so well with this brown that I turned it into a little pocket all its own on this side, and then just left the back one blank. This was out of the Winnie the Pooh book, and I thought the little page was so cute just to leave like it was. The back side had the little bouncing Tigger, so I just made a pocket at the bottom out of a black and orange so that you could still see the little Tigger bouncing, but yet turned it into a useful page with the pocket. Coaster from Outback, that the colors just kind of went with that, so I grabbed it and used it. Another one of those tuck spot pages where the patterned paper is just glued onto the edge of the cardstock. A belly band just to kind of break up the red page. This one I really liked. I wanted to use a piece of this corrugated in the book as a page, but it was kind of plain and it's so thick to just leave like it is. So I die cut a red frame and then ran it through the swirl embossing folder, stamped this verse, and then layered it all up, and I thought it was just absolutely sweet to go in this book. Then this is two little pockets that I just glued to the back side just to break up the black of the cardstock. And then this was the card front that I actually turned into a pocket, and that piece that I trimmed off was what I used for the belly band on this page so it didn't go to waste. And then this is just a little die cut word hope that I've just got stuck on there with a little clippy. But that's that book.